Starfinder Enhanced. Now, the good folks at Paizo have sent me a courtesy copy of a couple of things, the Technomancer and the Witchwarper for first impressions. This is not a review. I don't have the full copy. I don't have the full PDF for Starfinder Enhanced. Thank you, Paizo. I haven't read any of this. I haven't looked at it yet. We're going to go through it together and see some of my raw impressions as we look at this. Before we dive into this, if you are new here, my name's Nathaniel. Welcome to the table. Here we talk about the worlds of the game lore around Starfinder, Werewolf the Apocalypse, Vampire the Masquerade, among others. Many games within the Paizo universe as well. If Starfinder is something that you enjoy, then please hit the thumbs up button to let me know that you like Starfinder. And if you want to see more videos, then please hit subscribe with the bell notification so you never miss an upload. Now, let's get into this 12-page first look. I'm very excited about this. This is raw, by the way. Okay, where are we at here? Enhanced Technomancer. The Enhanced Technomancer embraces the concept of technology magic. Yeah, we know what the Technomancer does. They're computer mages, basically. Cast friends and foes. Yeah, there's the iconic. I forget the iconic's name, but that's a very good picture of them. Okay, what have we got here? Base attack bonus. 1 and 3. Yeah, okay, that's pretty good. That's normal. This here is normal for most of the characters. Fortitude save, will save. That's, again, also pretty normal. And let's take a look at what we have here. So this is very interesting. I saved you the time of watching me read through all of this, but essentially what the Technomancer is doing, or what they can do, is depending on what kind of spell some sort of caster is using, the Technomancer can enhance or decrease the spell. So they can buff their allies, or they can debuff their enemies if they're aware of a spell being used in a specific school of magic. So that's actually kind of cool. And this happens right from level 1. So this is one of the first things you can do as a Technomancer. This second level ability didn't exist for the Technomancer before, but what this does is any spell that you use against a technological target, a construct, something with the technological subtype, your spell is counted as 1 or 2 levels higher, making your spell DC harder to save against. Which makes sense because you're a Technomancer. You're using your spells to affect technology. And after this, I don't get to see any more of the level abilities because this is just a preview. But this is really cool. Thematically, these changes make sense for the Technomancer because now they can affect robots and constructs better. And I think this is cool. I like this. I like this little change here. Let's keep going because now we're going to start getting into some of the magic hacks here, which are obviously different. You know what? I'm going to read a couple of these and tell you which ones I think are cool here. Advanced Warning is our first magical hack, the first one that I'm reading, and it's already sounding pretty interesting. So there's a +1 insight bonus to initiative and perception checks to act in a surprise round, and you can cast Augury once per day, adding your caster level to the percentage chance of the spell giving you a meaningful information. So this makes spells leveling up with you more effective, and that's just kind of cool. What they're doing, from what I can tell with these new abilities and these magical hacks, the Technomancer is now becoming a support class, I guess? Because here you can buff your allies' defense if they're within 100 feet of you. You can spend a resolve point and they gain a +1 circumstance bonus to the target's EAC. So your energy AC gets buffed, and then the higher levels, the bonus increases, which is kind of cool. And you can also increase a triggering saving throw. So you can also increase your allies' saving throws based on the level of your Technomancer. Enhanced Illumination. So this magical hack basically allows you to make your own flashlight per se, a magical source or a technological source of light, and that's big at 100 feet. And then hang on a second. Within 100 feet, the area that light source illuminates is doubled at 8th level. They put a period here. I don't think that was intentional. Maybe is doubled. At 8th level, causes the light source level to illuminate the area by an additional step. At 14th level, it's quadrupled. So it's like, you're what, at 400 feet now? Oh, hang on a second. I misread that. Sorry, I misread that. So you enhance a light source within 100 feet, and that you double the light source that you pick. And then at 8th level, it causes that to go up by an additional step. And then at 14th level, it's quadrupled. So it's, okay, so you pick a source and then it brightens up. And then at 5th level, you can use that light source to dazzle each creature in the light range. Got to spend a resolve point for that. So they're starting to make more use cases for some of the resolve points, which is nice. But every creature except for you within 30 feet of the light source must succeed a reflex saving throw or be dazzled for 1d4 rounds. You can't do this again until you spend a resolve point to gain stamina after a 10-minute rest. So that's your short rest on there, that's actually cool. So at 5th level, that becomes a little more useful and strategic. So the Technomancer can now make basically a cone of shame, or a 30-foot area. Any sounds becomes perfectly silent except for the sounds that you generate. Sonic damage is reduced by the amount of twice your Technomancer level. The area of silence lasts for 1d4 rounds or until you use this ability again. So I would presume that you can just use this. Yeah, because it's a standard action, so you can just do this. This next one is actually pretty cool here too, retrieve data. So as a standard action, you can retrieve recently deleted data from a technological device you have access to. You must succeed a computer's check equal to 10 plus 1.5 times the tier of the device. More advanced devices makes it harder. That makes sense. Attempting to retrieve the deleted data. Once you have attempted this magic hack on a specific device, the data becomes irrevocably irretrievable by future attempts, regardless of your success or failure. So thematically, again, this is kind of cool. I'm liking this. This magical hack is also kind of cool. So once per day, as a move action, you can spend a resolve point. Again, we're really focusing on some of those resolve points and managing those. We're really leaning into that. There wasn't a ton of use cases. Well, there was some abilities before Starfinder enhanced for these, but I feel like this is really taking it to a new level here, which is good. You can basically just duplicate any weapon that you can see. You don't get the fusions or extra effects. They just don't come through, and I get why that is. If it does not, hang on a sec, it does not contain ammunition, though if the device uses a battery, it is half full and can only be used to power the weapon. That makes sense. This device cannot be sold and functions for a number of rounds equal to your intelligence modifier. We can't have you selling something that is magical in creation. This other ability is another level 5 ability, but the phase shield, you can just make an energy shield kind of similar to the Vanguard abilities, but you just get to keep it or concentrate and keep it, but you can dissipate it at will as well. And then the higher level you get, the more it affects your AC, EAC, because you have your tactical shield. Then there's your basic shield here. Basic tactical shield at 8th level, it goes up 14th and then 17th. It just gets stronger as you go up. So this is also very interesting. I didn't think of the Technomancer as something that would be on the front lines, but being able to summon a shield if you're in some combat, that would be kind of cool. Phase weapon, you can attack incorporeal creatures. It lasts for a minute. You can use it a number of times per day equal to your intelligence modifier. So you'd probably use that. Well, at the early levels, you use that for sure 4 times at maximum until you hit level 5, I think it is, and you get your stat bonuses. Actually, you would be able to increase that till level 10 if you started with an 18 intelligence modifier. With power down, you can make a technological construct, must succeed a fortitude saving throw or become fatigued, so you can make them drain their power and their abilities. This is more in line with what I think about with a Technomancer, and this seems to play better than even the original one, which really leaned into the casting elements of things. With this one, Swarm Surge, this is a swift action, and you can have your weapon that you're holding deal half damage against a creature with the swarm defense universal monster rules instead of no damage. So if you missed on a swarm, this one I think is a little bit more situational, but still cool that you have the ability to do this. Some of the adventure modules, this might be a little bit more effective. 8th level abilities, adopt weapon, become proficient with a weapon of technological. As a standard action, you become proficient with a type of technological weapon, which another ally within 30 feet is proficient. Oh, so you can steal your allies' proficiencies. Oh, if they have weapon specialization, you can also apply that to yourself in that particular weapon type. It just lasts a number of rounds equal to your intelligence modifier, and then you can only do that once per day until you spend a resolve point and a short rest. With all of these changes, they're really making the Technomancer more of a combat class, a little bit less, maybe a little less on the caster side, but still useful in those senses, and they're really enhancing, see what I did there? The abilities around technological constructs, devices, and this is more, what I'm reading is definitely more fitting with what I would have envisioned a Technomancer to be. This next one is duplicate spell, and this one's also kind of neat. As a reaction, when you see a spell being cast within your line of sight, you can spend a resolve point and attempt a mysticism check equal to 15 plus the spell level. If you succeed, you identify and temporarily gain the ability to cast that spell one time, as long as you have the spell slots to do it. That's interesting. The duplicated, you have to be castable by Technomancers. The duplicated spell becomes usable at the end of the, unusable at the end of the day or after you have taken an 8-hour rest. Technomancers can just straight up jack your spells, as long as they can cast it. Okay, let's take a look at this one. Hindering Surge. When an enemy within your reach would like to or would cast a spell or use a spell-like ability, as a reaction, you can spend 1 resolve point to attempt to prevent that action. So you can just straight up stop spell-like abilities, or delay them at best, I suppose. The enemy must succeed a will saving throw or be unable to cast the spell or use the spell-like ability for 1 round. Only blocks it for 1 round. That's okay. Once you've used this ability to attempt to hinder an opponent in this manner, they are immune to your hindering surge for 24 hours. You can only use that against 1 target per 24 hours, which makes sense. This is supposed to be a level 8 ability, right? Phased attack. Once per minute. As a move action, you can spend 1 resolve point and add a +1 circumstance bonus to your next attack roll with a technological weapon before the end of your turn. So y'all can just make your attack better. With all of these changes coming out, I really think they're leaning more into some use cases around the resolve points, which is good to see. Scan weakness. You can scan a creature to find its weakness. As a move action, you can select a creature within 60 feet and attempt a computer's skill check. You can't take 10 or 20 on this check, even if the ability would allow you to do so in combat. Interesting. The DC for this check is 15 plus 1.5 times the creature's CR. Okay, Paizo, I don't like the way that this is displayed here. We did a 1.5 times. Where did we see that? We saw that back up here like this. Do it like that. I know that this is not the grammatically correct way to write stuff, but this makes more sense than writing it like this. So that's just from me to you on personal preference. It's a nitpick and it's small. I get it. Maybe I'm just dumb. I don't know. So what does this do? Probably lets you see the weakness or gives you a bonus against them. So you gain, if you succeed, you gain a +1 circumstance bonus to attack rolls against that creature, and any attacks you make against the target ignore 10 points of the target's damage resistance and energy resistances. Both of these effects last until the beginning of your next turn. A creature you've targeted with scan weakness is immune to further uses of this magic hacked for 24 hours. Whoa, okay, so damage resistance is a big thing in Starfinder, and this just lets you just ignore it. And a significant portion of it, 10 points. That's big. Okay, so this one was also pretty wordy, but deactivating Surge. You can shut off power armor, weapons, as long as it's a technological subtype. Again, you have to spend a resolve point to do so. but you can just shut down stuff. Now, your target does get a save against this, so they can do an engineering check to kind of turn it back on their turn. And if it's a robot, you can shut down the robot too, but they get a fortitude save to stop being turned off. This is like really interesting. I'm really digging the vibe that they're going through with this. Phase Stride. Now, keep in mind, these are the level 11 magic hacks. These are kind of cool. You can just teleport to a space as long as it's 60 feet away and you can see it. You can just go there and it doesn't provoke attacks of opportunity, which is also interesting. In my mind, when I think about this, I think of just converting into like a lightning bolt bit of energy and just going to the next space. So we'll see how that plays out. As long as it's a non-magical shield, you can just ignore cover reduction, hardness, damage reduction. The Technomancer's getting pretty punchy here. Power Surge. You can manipulate the energies surrounding an opponent to cause them to reel from your attack. As a reaction, after hitting the opponent with a weapon, the technological subtype, so you have to hit them with a technological weapon, and your target also has to be technological in some way. You can spend a resolve point and attempt to stagger your target. I'm missing my clicks here. The target must succeed a fortitude saving throw or be staggered until the beginning of your next turn. Once you've used this ability to attempt to stagger a creature, that creature is immune to your surge for 24 hours. I get it, you don't want to keep reusing the same ability. There's got to be some balance in the game somewhere. But you can do this as many times as you want in a day, as long as your targets are different. At least as far as I'm reading this anyways. Surging Magic. As a reaction when you are targeted by a spell. You can spend 1 resolve point to gain spell resistance equal to 15 plus your Technomancer level until the end of your turn. You can't use this ability again until you spend 1 resolve point to regain stamina. So short rest. Interesting. So you can just, as a reaction, I need magic defense. Boop. And there you go. Hopefully you get it. Well, not defense, I guess. It's resistance. So you would reduce the damage. You get harder to hit. Go away. Pop-ups. Go away. Now, 14th level is where we start to get into some powerful stuff here. Power Drain. You can, using a melee technological weapon, you can drain power from the target's technological devices. Again, this is a reaction. Choose one item in the target's possession that uses charges or select a qualifying item at random. Interesting. That item loses a number of charges equal to 1d10 plus your intelligence modifier. Battery in your possession gains. So you steal power. What is this? Phase Entrapment. You pull a creature outside of the normal confines of space and time. What? You pull a creature out of the normal confines of space and time. I thought that's Witchwarper shit. Once per combat, as a standard action, you can make an attack with a technological weapon against a target's EAC. If you hit, you must succeed a will save or be phased into an extra dimensional space for 1 round. Oh, you're not pulling them out of there, you're kind of pushing them out of there. The creature is not harmed in this space, but effectively ceases to exist, and it cannot be located or contacted by any mundane or magical means. For 1 round, this thing just phases out of existence? God. When the duration expires, the creature reappears in space it last occupied, or the closest unoccupied space if the original space is occupied. To the target creature, it seems as though no time has passed during its absence, and it returns exactly in the state when it disappeared. For 1 round, a combat round is 6 seconds. If you get hit with this ability, or let's say you get hit with this ability, you just cease to exist for 6 seconds. Oh, including having... Okay, it remains exactly in the state when it disappeared, including having the same duration remaining on any spells effects that were affecting it at the time of its departure. If you're on fire, you have burn damage, you will blink out of existence, come back 6 seconds later, you won't have taken the damage, but you're still on fire. Phase Swarm. Oh, what's this gonna be? Okay, you can operate a technological swarm that overwhelms opponents as a standard action. Mechanical bees. 1 resolve point to create an electromagnetic swarm that fills a 10-foot by 10-foot area of bees. It doesn't say bees, I'm just saying that, within 60 feet. This swarm deals 66 fire and electricity damage. Oh, so 66 fire and 66 electricity damage? Or is it 3d6 fire, 3d6 electricity? I would, just based off of this wording, I would say 66 each. It has 50 hit points. The swarm defenses, swarm immunities, alien archives 157, a fly speed of 30 feet. You can take a standard action at the beginning of your turn to maintain. So you have to concentrate to keep this swarm to a maximum number of rounds equal to your Technomancer level. By this point, you're at level 14 at minimum. The damage done by your phase swarm increases by 1d6 every 3 Technomancer levels after the 14th level. So basically, by 20th level, you're doing 8d6 damage. Jesus. The swarm can do nothing but move its speed and attack one designated enemy per round. Restore technology. You can restore technological objects that have been broken beyond repair and bring technological constructs back from the dead as long as you can touch them and they have not been completely destroyed or disintegrated. So if they're a fine powder, this doesn't work. If they're just old and decrepit, you can bring them back. You must have access to an engineering toolkit. Use this ability within 10 minutes of the object or construct's demise. Oh, it has to be freshly dead. You can't just find something that's 1,000 years old and hopefully you fix it. To do so requires 1 minute of interrupted work. The revival target is 1 HP. Any ability scores are reduced to 0 or raised to 1. Yeah. You repair all broken parts, but can't restore missing ones. A construct restored in this manner has a temporary negative level for 24 hours. Okay, so you can bring something back from the dead. A robot or your Bitcoin hard drive. Stunning Surge. You can redirect energies surrounding an opponent and cause them to stop their actions. Basically, you're stunning a target, is how I'm reading this. As a reaction after hitting an opponent with a weapon of the technological subtype, you can spend 1 resolve point in an attempt to stun your target. The target must succeed a fortitude save or be stunned until the start of your next turn. Yeah, okay, that's all right. I'm liking this art of this character. And I think that's a visual representation of the shield ability that we saw just a little bit higher. Okay, maybe this is this ability. Maybe I have this wrong. This is level 17th magic hacks now. So, once per day is a standard action, you can create a cataclysm that will affect all magical devices within an item level lower than your Technomancer level. Well, you're already 17th level at this point, so this is a lot. Each magic item must succeed a fortitude saving throw or become inoperable for the number of rounds equal to your intelligence modifier. If you spend 3 resolve points when you use this ability... What? 3 resolve points? Hang on a sec. It doesn't say that you have to spend 1 to use it. You can just do it once per day. But if you spend 3 resolve points when you use this ability, any magical creatures within this area must also... It doesn't say also. Must succeed a fortitude saving throw or become staggered for 1 round. Magical creatures. This is cool. I like this. Construct form. As a full action, you can transform your body into a technological construct for a number of rounds equal to your intelligence modifier. You can just turn into a robot. In this state, you gain immunity to bleed, disease, non-lethal damage, paralysis, poison, stunning. You gain +4 enhancement bonus to saving throws unless the effect prompting the saving throw works on technological constructs. So fighting another Technomancer would be a challenge. You can end the transformation early with a swift action. You can't use this ability until you spend 1 resolve point to regain stamina after a 10-minute rest. That is cool. Okay, that is cool. You can just straight up become a robot. Power Sphere. Twice per day is a standard action. You can unleash a burst of raw magic in a 30-foot radius around you, dealing 10d6 damage to every creature in the area. Reflex takes half. Each time you use your Power Sphere, you decide if it deals electricity, fire, or sonic damage. That's cool. You can expend a Technomancer spell slot when using this ability to exclude a number of squares from the area of your Power Sphere equal to no more than the level of the spell slot expended. So that is your anti-allied target. So if you're going to blow up your fire, electricity, or sonic into a space, all of your allies are there. You need to spend a spell slot for however many allies are there to not kill them all or damage them all. Maybe it would kill them. I don't know. 10d6? That's fair. That's fair. Okay, this is a name of an ability I like. Technological Apocalypse. Once per day, as a standard action, you can create a cataclysm that affects all technological devices within an item level lower than your Technomancer level, other than your own within 30, so it saves your own devices. Within 30 feet, each technological item must succeed. DMs, I know that you have to do this for each, but my God, if there's a lot of items around, that's a lot of rolls. Or become inoperable for a number of rounds equal to your intelligence modifier. If you spend 3 resolve points when you use this ability, any technological creatures within this area must also succeed a fortitude saving throw or become staggered for 1 round. I want to shut down all of it. And there it goes. So, okay, I'm digging the new abilities for the Technomancer, the enhanced Technomancer. This is kind of cool. Little on the support side, little on the actually leaning into the combat side of things as well. Now, before we talk about the Witchwarper, which is coming up here, my one gripe with the Witchwarper is before enhanced, it was such a cool concept, the ability to reach into reality or to different realities and pull things out, do different things. In Starfinder, Witchwarpers are the reasons that kobolds exist. Thematically, they are super cool. I've always enjoyed the concept of the Witchwarper. Mechanically, the Witchwarper has always, to me, felt underpowered. Starfinder Galactic Magic helped with that. They really expanded the spell repertoire for all the casters, but the Witchwarper in particular. But they've still always, of the casters, to me, they've still always felt third place. So let's see what they have to say about the Witchwarper, the enhanced Witchwarper. So this is like, again, this is cool art design, but that's not what we're reviewing here. So the attack bonus is pretty standard. That's the same. Fortitude saves are good. Reflex saving throws are better. The will saves are okay. Okay. Infinite Worlds. Now they had the same ability in the character operations manual. This ability functions as the character operations manual Witchwarper Infinite Worlds with 2 exceptions. So they're making this some changes. Each day you gain additional spell slots equal to those you would gain normally, so long rests. Each day you gain additional spell slots equal to those you would normally. These additional spell slots can only be used for your Infinite Worlds ability. For example, a 5th level Witchwarper with 16 charisma gains an additional 5 first level. What? For example, a 5th level Witchwarper with 16 charisma gains an additional 5 first level spell slots and 3 second level spell slots, each usable only for their Infinite Worlds ability. Second, this replaces the 2nd level environmental effects with the version below. Environmental. You create a hazard that deals damage each round with a successful fortitude save, reducing the damage by half. Or with a successful fortitude save, reducing damage by half. Okay, great. A creature attempts its saving throw when it enters or begins its turn in the area and does not take damage from this effect more than once per round, even if they enter the area multiple times. On the first round, the hazard deals 1d4 damage per level of the spell slot expended. That's a lot to keep track of, but okay. Each following round, reduce the result of each damage die by 1, minimum 1 per die. You select the damage type each time using this ability from acid, bludgeoning, cold, electrical, fire, piercing, slashing, or sonic. Okay, so they're also saying that a Witchwarper is pretty well trained so that they can choose 1 additional skill and add it to your list of class skills. This option is good because it will really help with character flexibility and creating a specific concept for characters, so I'm okay with that. Seek the Breach. You can activate your Infinite Worlds ability as if you had expended a spell slot of the highest level that you can cast, after which you cannot activate Seek the Breach again until you spend 1 resolve point to regain stamina for a 10-minute rest, your short rest, yes. You gain an additional daily use of Seek the Breach at 4th level, 10th level, 16th level to a maximum of 5 per day. So I had to refresh myself on the Infinite Worlds ability with the character operations manual, and I've kind of forgotten this, but you can just pull sections of environment from other realities and just put it into existence here. So thick vines, fog, desert. You know, that's basically what you're doing. You're pulling reality into this one, and that's what this is doing. Infinite worlds here. Overload reality. This is a second level ability. With intense effort, you can combine numerous realities at once. That's not good. Well, for your enemies anyways. As a full action, you can use both your Infinite Worlds ability and cast a Witchwarper spell whose casting time is 1 standard action. You must expend the spell slots for each effect separately. Ooh, okay. You choose both effects as well as their targets and areas when you use this ability, after which you resolve both effects in the order of your choice. Once you use this ability, you cannot do so again until you spend 1 resolve point. A short rest, though you can spend 1 resolve point at any time to use this ability again without resting. What? So you can use it again if you don't rest. So you can spend the resolve point and do it as a rest, or you can spend the resolve point and do it without the rest. That's poorly worded, in my opinion, unless I'm missing something here. Okay, this is cool. This is interesting. Parallel minds. Your exploration of alternate realities exposes you to variants of yourself and what you could have been. When you gain your 5th Witchwarper level and every Witchwarper level thereafter, you can change one of the following features. Reduce the number of ranks in one skill by an amount that does not exceed half of your Witchwarper level, and invest those ranks in any other skills. You cannot reduce your ranks in a skill below 0 in this way, nor can your ranks in a skill exceed your character level. After 5th level, you can just change your skill abilities because you're tapping into the reality of another you. The Starfinder multiverse, I've talked about this quite a bit. Replace the skill chosen for your otherworldly skill ability with a different skill. If you do this, do the ranks go with it? Is my question. Or do they stay there and then they apply as a new, anything applies as a new skill rank? Because you could potentially use that to gain the +3 skill bonus on everything. I would say that the ranks would go with it, would be my guess. Ideal outcome. Sometimes you just need to keep searching for more favorable realities. Once per day, when you re-roll an attack roll, saving throw, ability check, or skill check using your alternate outcome ability, and the second roll's result would miss or fail, you can either re-roll 1 additional time and use the third result, or you can gain 1 additional use of alternate outcome that lasts until the next time you rest or recover spell slots. So the ideal outcome is kind of cool. The alternate outcome just allows you to re-roll a bunch of stuff. So that's kind of neat. Okay. I still think the concept of the Witchwarper is cool, but this is not going the way that I expected it to. This Parallel Minds, though, this is really good for character customization, for sure. And then I think after level 11, you gain the other abilities as per usual, because there's actually quite a big gap from like some of these levels all the way up until the higher tiers of the class. Yeah, because alternate outcome is a 6th level ability, and then there's really nothing on there for the Witchwarper class until you get into 19th level. So this really adds some missing pieces. Okay, let's go into the paradigms, or the paradigm shifts. Chaos Ammo. As a move action, you can spend a resolve point to channel your alternate realities energy into your weapons, ammunition. Using this table below, roll a 1d6 to determine damage types. Your damage will be at random. And this ability allows you to deal an additional 1d4 damage to the randomly determined type. This effect lasts until the ammo is removed from the weapon, the ammo is expended, or 10 minutes pass, whichever occurs first. Additional ammunition loaded into the weapon is unaffected, and affected ammunition only deals damage while you wield the weapon. That's interesting. At 8th level, it increases to 2d4. 14th level, you can roll twice and choose 1 result to determine the damage type. That makes the Witchwarper more effective in combat, so that's neat. Especially at the earlier levels when damage sucks because you don't have your weapon specializations yet. That's good to see. Otherworldly Charm. We all know that the Witchwarper is a charisma caster. Your words carry supernatural weight, helping listeners imagine a reality in which they'd agree with you. So you force your agreeable reality onto them. When you succeed a diplomacy check to improve the creature's attitude by 4 or less, you can spend 1 resolve point to treat your diplomacy check as though you had exceeded the check by 5 for the purposes of modifying the creature's attitude further. If your result already exceeds the DC by 5 or more, you can spend a resolve point to reduce the number of additional minutes you need to spend interacting with the creature to improve their attitude further by an amount equal to your charisma modifier minimum of 1 minute. You make people agree with you better. Reaching Lash. When you expend a Witchwarper spell slot to empower your Infinity Lash, you also increase the Infinity Lash's reach by 5 feet, plus an additional 5 feet for each 2 levels of the expended spell slot. Each time you make an attack with the Infinity Lash, reduce this additional reach by 5 feet. You must have the Infinity Lash alternate class feature to take this paradigm shift. Now, GM stands for Galactic Magic, so that's an alternate class feature that was added for the Witchwarper in that book. Agile Lash, which is probably going to be something along these lines here. Like a living grappling hook, your infinite lash helps you to vault and scale obstacles. So you can use this for traversal and movement, which is neat. You can use your charisma modifier in place of your strength modifier to calculate your athletics and jump. So that's good. While your Infinity Lash is empowered by one of your expended spell slots, you can also gain a plus 5 foot enhancement bonus to your base speed, and you gain a climb speed equal to half your base speed. If the expended spell slot is at least 4th level, the enhancement bonus to your base speed is increased to 15 feet, and you must have the Infinity Lash alternate class feature to choose this paradigm shift. If you like this ability, there's some pretty good enhancements here for this. Channeled Crew. You intuitively draw experience from countless accomplished starship officers across time and space, helping you to operate a starship by sheer willpower. You can use your charisma modifier in place of your wisdom modifier when calculating your mysticism modifier. Jesus, there's a lot of switching up there. When performing as the magic officer. This was a starship role that was added in the character operations manual. You can spend 1 resolve point as a minor crew action during the engineering phase of Starship and absorb the technical know-how to alternate reality. When you do so, you choose 1 skill to resolve crew actions for 1d4 plus 1 when you perform crew actions as though you had a number of skills. You would have your Witchwarper level. You're better at engineering on the ship based off of pulling information from other alternate sources of reality. That's all right. Resolve opens the gate. Like a ship's wake, your allies' determination sends ripples throughout reality, making it easy for you to reach into other worlds. When an ally within 30 feet of you expends 1 or more resolve points, when an ally spends a resolve point, you can attempt to draw power from their determination as a reaction. You have a percentage to succeed equal to 20% of the resolve points the ally spended. If you succeed, you gain a temporary 1st level spell slot that you can only expend to activate your Infinite Worlds class ability or Infinite class ability that replaces Infinite Worlds. Alternate class ability that replaces Infinite Worlds. The spell slot increases to 2nd level if both you and the ally are at least level 9, to 3rd level if you and the ally are both at level 14. So you gain, if your friends are spending resolve points, you can gain some benefit from them here. I'm still feeling underwhelmed by the Witchwarper, but these are kind of neat. 8th level paradigm shift, and they were also lower levels. Let's see how it gets on the upper levels here. Arcane Override. You develop a way to brute force technological problems with magical determination. You gain a 2nd level Technomancer magic hack for which you qualify. When calculating the magic hack's effects, your Technomancer level equals your Witchwarper level minus 6, and you can use your charisma modifier instead of your intelligence. You can take the paradigm shift a 2nd time at a 5th level to gain a 5th level magic hack if you are at least 11th level, and you can take it a 3rd time if you are 14th level to gain an 8th level magic hack. So you can become a temporary weaker version of a Technomancer. Okay, this one is cool. Eldritch Deception. Your lies split into alternate realities. You basically are telling 2 lies. You roll to see how well they work, and the one that works best you get to keep. And the other lie, it just kind of fades out of existence as if it never happened. The lies need to be distinct, even if their objectives are the same. For example, lying about being a guard's replacement and lying about the building being on fire might both be intended to make the guard leave the area, though their reasons and plausibility differ. So they can't be too close. This one is kind of cool. Actually, it's really cool. I like that one. Infinite Self. You've developed a strong connection to certain types of alternate realities with whose power you're able to channel into your body, briefly transforming you into a supernatural version of yourself. When you gain this paradigm shift, choose one of the following variants: Chaoskin, Driftblood, Fiend Touched, Shadowkin, or Story Sworn. I don't know what that is. You can spend 2 resolve points as a move action or transform into the chosen variant of yourself for 1 minute. Forms typically provide a defensive ability, grant you the natural weapon universal rule, creature spells. So you can just transform into a different variant of yourself from the multiverse. It increases the number of damage. Natural weapon, notes whether it's ranged or melee, as well as its damage type, range. Special properties, increase the number of damage by 1 for every 3 Witchwarper levels you have beyond 8th level. You treat the improved skill as a class skill and gain the number of ranks equal to your Witchwarper level. Oh, that's why I didn't know what these are, because they've given them here. If the skill already has the maximum number of ranks invested, you instead add this skill to the list of skills modified by your compound sight class ability. You can gain this paradigm shift multiple times. Each time you choose an additional form you can assume, though you can only assume 1 form at a time when using this paradigm shift. Okay, so Chaos Sworn, which would be the realm of chaos, contorts and grows into unpredictable cosmetic features. It's a ranged weapon, 1d6 with 40 range. Roll a d10 to determine the bolt's damage type. Again, this is random damage type, but this is kind of... I like this. This is interesting. Defensive ability, you gain +3 circumstance to KAC, bull rush, grapple, so you're harder to grab. +2 enhancement bonus to petrification and morph, and you know the shifting surge, reality leap, and entropic grasp. That's cool. Driftblood, wires, metallic plates. That's okay. This thing, that's neat. Wires, metallic plates, brilliant crests envelop part of your body like that of a spectra. So your computer's energy beam. This is a ranged weapon. Electrical resistance, which stacks. Void adaptation creature rule. Detect tech, make whole, and irradiate. I'm not going to say that I don't appreciate this, but this is not my aesthetic. But there are definitely those of you out there who would enjoy this. Fiend touch. Now we're getting into more what I would like. Fearsome creatures, claws, horns, scales, wings sprout from your body, making you resemble a demon. Intimidate. Claws, which is melee. Fire resistance, which stacks. Enhancement bonus against saving throws. Charm person, force blast, and explosive blast. Very cool. Shadow kind. Resembles that of a shadowy and indistinct as you awaken powers over the light and darkness. Very cool. Stealth, melee. In any level other than bright light, you gain concealment. So you can move through the shadows. That's kind of neat. Your dark vision with a range of 60 feet. Also, if you already have dark vision, its range is increased by 30 feet. Wisp ally, mirror image, and displacement. Story sworn. I wanted to know what this one was. Though your body doesn't change, your perspective does. You view the world as an omniscient narrator, able to read and dictate important characters' actions. This form grants you no natural attack or defensive abilities, instead enhancing your control over summoned creatures. Okay, I see where they're going with that. What do we have here? Your sense motive, infinite self, to assume this form without spending an action. Spending 2 result points is not when you summon a creature. Each creature gains temporary hit points to 3 times the spell level of the summoning list. As a move action, you can encourage one of your summoned creatures, granting it +1 competence bonus to attack rolls. You can buff your creatures because you're better at storytelling. What's that? Not Ironheart. Is it Ironheart? There's a Brendan Fraser movie where he was where he read books and they came to life. That's what I get with this. Spells known, Enduring Worlds, Parallel Form, and Probability Prediction. Probability Prediction? I'm assuming that this will be in the Enhanced, Starfinder Enhanced, which hasn't released yet at the time of this recording. You must be 11th level or higher to choose these paradigm shifts. Okay, we still have 2 pages left, or 1 page left here. After this, Confounding Haze. Your obscuring magic doesn't just thwart enemy sensors, it overloads them. When you succeed a mysticism check to perform the Mystic Haze Magic Officer crew action, you can create an especially vexing countermeasure that lasts until the end of your next round. So this is good for starship combat. Whenever using opposing sciences officers crew action against your starship, it either fails the check by 5 or more, rolls a natural 1 computer check. magic scrambles sensors is hit by an EMP. Basically, you make the computer think it's been hit by an EMP weapon. Last one on the level 11 here, Living Lash. This is Wall of Text. When you attack and damage a creature with your infinite lash, your attack roll exceeds the target's armor class by 4 or more. You can spend a resolve point and animate and let go of your infinity lash, transforming it into a constricting serpent. That's cool. The lash coils around the target, giving them entangled condition for 1 round. Reflex negates. At the end of the round, each creature's turn that the lash continues constricting, the creature becomes entangled for an additional round, takes additional damage as though you had struck them with the infinity lash. Okay. Successful reflex save negates the entangled condition for 1 round and halves the damage. The animated infinity lash is a small construct with your magical subtype EAC KC's 15 plus your Witchwarper level. It is a number of hit points equal to your own. If destroyed, your lash disappears. You cannot create another one for a minute. You turn your lash ability into snakes. I want to make a snakes on a plane joke, but plane of existence, not airplane. 14th level. Now we're getting into the big time stuff here. Crossover training. 1 resolve point as a standard action to share 2 allies' skill sets with each other. Both allies must be within 30 feet of you. For each ally, choose either a skill in which they're trained or a feat they have. If you choose an ally's skill, the other ally calculates the skill modifier as though it were a class skill and as though they had the number of ranks equal to the first ally's rank. So you can transfer the class skill ability and the ranks to your allies to make them good at things because maybe they're closer to doing something or being able to, maybe they're there to make it first. I don't know, make the check first. I can see this being useful. If you choose a feat from the other ally gains that feat so long as they meet its prerequisites. Both allies retain this benefit for a number of minutes equal to half your Witchwarper level. Once you have affected creature's paradigm shift, short rest and spend a resolve point. Okay, hyperversimilitude. Your senses are so finely attuned that you can easily spot anything supernatural. Add either see invisibility or arcane sight to your list of spells known. You can spend 1 resolve point when you cast See and Visit to extend the duration to 1 hour per level, that's a long time. You can spend 1 resolve point when you cast Arcane Sight to extend its duration to 10 minutes per level. Wishful Scrying. Sometimes your divinations see reality, and sometimes they impose alternate realities on what you perceive. When you succeed a mysticism check, perform the Scrying Magic Officer. Okay, this is more space combat related. You can spend 1 resolve point to learn 1 piece of information and instead temporarily alter one of that ship's properties. So you can change the properties in a ship. Choose one of the effects below for which you have successfully learned the associated piece of information. Each effect lasts for 1d4 rounds. These are complicated. Don't play a Witchwarper if you're just getting into this system. God. Once you apply one of these effects to a starship, that ship becomes immune for further... Okay. Awkward, basic information, chaotic, calibrated weapon, explosively unstable, fragile. Awkward makes the ship harder to turn for your opponents. So chaotically calibrated means that if the gunner on the opposite ship rolls a 1 on their check, the weapon misfires catastrophically, dealing half the damage to the starship. This damage bypasses the starship's shields. This is actually really, really good. Explosively unstable. You increase the volatility of some of the starship's cargo, triggering an imminent explosion. God, that is fun. The starship sensors immediately detect the threat, allowing its crew and engineer to avert the damage. At the beginning of the next helm phase, that cargo explodes, dealing 1d6 damage to the starship for each 3 Witchwarper levels you have. This damage bypasses the starship's shields. Why is speaking so hard? Fragile. Reduce the starship's critical threshold by an amount equal to your charisma modifier. It's poorly worded here, but this is a preview. This is nitpicky. They cannot reduce the critical threshold below half its starting value. Okay, these are the level 17 abilities. Let's see what we've got here. Intensify outcome. You don't just nudge reality, you shove it towards the desired outcome. When you use your alternate outcome class ability to reroll an attack roll, also roll 1d6. If the rerolled attack would hit, and the sum of the rerolled dies, and the sum of the rerolled die result, and the d6 result equals or exceeds 20, the attack is a critical hit. there isn't much that changes critical hits in Starfinder. That is significant. Infinite cataclysms. You have discovered truly terrible alternate realities to weaponize. Okay, we're going full on HP Lovecraft, but in the weaponizing sense. Add the following of the 6th level environmental instantaneous effects with your Infinite Worlds ability. Must spend a resolve point, use it. You cannot use it again until you take a short rest in 10 minutes. They're not calling it a short rest anymore, and that's probably for obvious reasons. But and that's the end of my preview. So there's probably going to be a few more environmental effects on this one. But Plague Fire, fiery pathogens flood the area, burning their way into hosts' bodies. Creatures in the area take 8d6 fire damage. Reflex takes half immediately, and at the start of each turn, they begin in the area. Oh, that's ongoing. That's dots. That's dots. Okay, so that is basically my preview of the Technomancer and the Witchwarper. Obviously, not everything is complete in here, but this was supposed to be a first impressions, first review. I just read this as I've been going through it. So as I'm going through it, you're knowing what I'm seeing. Technomancer, much more interesting as a class. Witchwarper, still, right now, it's still just missing the mark, but it does have some more cooler abilities. So this is going to create a little bit more utility for the Witchwarper in terms of spells and how everything works for combat and things like that. I just don't know. I do know that I am personally looking forward to Starfinder Enhanced. I really want to see what they're going to do with this system. I know Starfinder 2 is coming out as well. Haven't talked about that yet. I am very excited for this book, though. If these are the kinds of changes that they're making to the classes to make some of them more viable, more interesting, fitting more with the concepts and the themes of what they're going for, then this is looking, on my first impressions, to be very good. Technomancer was great, A+. Witchwarper, you're going to get more of like a C. Just to clarify, this is not a review. This is just simply a first impressions. Paizo, keep it up. This is looking good. I'm excited for what I'm seeing, and I want to see more of it. So, yeah. Tell me what you think about it in the comments below. My name's Nathaniel. Thanks for stopping by, everyone.